Yo, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? What is going on? Welcome to the live stream. This is Edward Weems, founder and creator of Health by Any Means Necessary. Yo, do me a favor, go ahead and type 5 in the chat if you can see me and hear me all right. And also do me a favor and share this video. Share this video and any other video that I have on the page that you feel will be beneficial for your family, your friends, as it pertains to type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, or just health improvement in general. All right, so go ahead, do me a favor, type 5 in the chat, and let me know if you can hear me. So as you all know, this is what I do. I'm seeing patients all day long. I have online clients. I'm dealing with patients all the time. As you all know, my mission when it comes to our community, the Black community, is to aggressively inspire, radically improve the health conditions of our community by any means necessary. My main focus is on insulin resistance. I always tell you all, insulin resistance is the foundation for many of the issues that we face, such as type 2 diabetes, pre-diabetes, PCOS, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, obesity, cancer, so much more. The foundation of that is insulin resistance, and so we teach strategies and tactics and ways to address insulin resistance. And we also shifted the paradigm from looking at insulin resistance in many of these conditions as not looking at them as diseases, but instead an appropriate response. And so we shifted the language. We changed the narrative to make things make sense. These are not diseases. These are protective mechanisms, and these are appropriate response given the lifestyle that you're dealing with, whether it be the foods, the drinks, the lack of movement. When you don't have those things, then there are consequences to be paid, whether you know it or not. And so the response would be to increase the blood pressure, increase the blood sugar. These are all appropriate responses. And so, I deal with this stuff every single day. And I've dealt with it so long and so much, such a depth, on a deep level that, I tend to see things very differently. I come up with my own conclusions. I come up with my own theories and X, Y, Z. And you all know I also wrote the book, Done with Diabetes. But I tell you what, every once in a while, even though I understand how the system works, I understand that it's largely corrupt. I understand, these folks have no intentions on providing true health as a system goes. I understand all that. I'm gonna tell you what, man, every once in a while, it hits me again, almost as if it's brand new. And that's what happened today, and it also happened yesterday. Yesterday, a lot of you might have seen that I made a post, and the post pretty much said, if you're diabetic and you're more concerned or you're more afraid of coronavirus, I would ask you to reconsider your priorities. I would actually reconsider, what you're going to address. And, got several messages, two from two doctors, and then one from a nurse, X, Y, Z. And then today, I'm dealing with a patient who is seeing me specifically for type 2 diabetes. And it's only been 2 months. I don't want to give too much information because, she's around. And dope sister, truly appreciate the work that she's putting in to radically improve her health. But we're talking about someone who started off working with me in August. A1C was 12.1. She picked up the habits right there on day 2 after we got the results back. Spoke with her, gave her the game, gave her the protocol. She got the work. She's been dedicated. She was doing what she needed to do. And within 1 month, 30 days, her A1C went from a 12.1 to a 10, flat 10. Medications don't even do that, but let alone. And so she continues to do the actual work. She sends me her tracking sheet, so I have her do her blood sugar tracking sheet. She's measuring her finger sticks every single day, several times a day, and that way I can see the progress on a day-by-day basis. We're not guessing, we're not theorizing. Like, this is actual work every single day. And so she's sending me these finger sticks. Her finger sticks started off at 263, 280 something, 220, and the next thing you know, 189, 169, 124, 113, 113, 124, 98. And so it's dropping, and she's lit. She's extremely excited. She's also feeling the effects of the mental clarity. On and on and on. So we'll get to see tomorrow what her A1C is within, for those 2 months that she put in. But I know it's going to be, of course, lower than the 10. And she was questioning me about, because a lot of times my patients, they'll speak with their old practitioner or someone else in their family who is a nurse or something, and they'll hear the same old talking points about, this condition being progressive and being chronic and it running in their family, but they're living a completely different reality where they're actually getting the results that they truly wanted. And if they knew that this is all they had to do, they would have done it a long time ago. Like, they wouldn't have done the medications, they wouldn't have done the injections, they wouldn't have done the procedures. They would have been doing the work that would actually grant the result. And so, along with all of that, I see and hear a lot of concerns that are coming from patients who have been diagnosed with diabetes, and rightfully so. The concerns are, I completely get it. I did a video on Saturday, and pretty much I was shedding light on the fact that when it comes to coronavirus, out of those, so over 200,000 people have died in this country from coronavirus. So they say. Now, I have a lot of questions about how the deaths are being counted, XYZ. I have a lot of questions about the coronavirus in general. But let's go with the official story. The official story says that over 200,000 people in this country have died from the virus. Of those 200,000, 40% of those people were diabetics, type 2 diabetics. 40% of anything is a lot. If it was 20%, that would be a lot. If it was 15%, it would be a significant amount. That is a lot. And so on that live stream, we got into why, like, what's going on? Why? What is it about type 2 diabetes that makes someone so vulnerable to this virus? And the further we go down that rabbit hole of trying to explain or answer that question, we see that it's not so much diabetes, it's insulin resistance. And so when we look at those 200,000 plus deaths in this country from coronavirus, we know that 40% of the people were diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. The question I raise is, what percentage of those people were insulin resistant? I believe it would have to be in the 60 to 80% range of those people were insulin resistant, which is a topic that a lot of practitioners unfortunately don't understand. And so the true problem, or the true root of the problem, well, the foundation of the problem is insulin resistance, or that's where a lot of this problem is stemming from. And you have to understand that if you're insulin resistant, you are vulnerable to essentially almost anything. Anything that takes your body out of homeostasis, anything that's going to challenge your body, you are vulnerable, because the platform is already set. It's already there. And diabetics see this a lot. They don't have to have, for them to start to decline, it doesn't have to be coronavirus. It can literally be a UTI, urinary tract infection. It can literally be an ingrown toenail that gets infected. And these things will rapidly change or decline their health because that infection spreads. And because you have a high insulin and high glucose, your body does not fight off infections the same way. Also, your vascular system is compromised. And so what I am trying to get people to understand in general, whether you're diabetic or not, but trying to get people to understand that if you're insulin resistant, which you are if you most likely have high blood pressure, cholesterol, obesity, PCOS, prediabetes or diabetes, you're most likely at some level of insulin resistant. You need to understand that you're already vulnerable. And so it doesn't have to be coronavirus. It could be the flu. And so when I see this response, and this response is being promoted by healthcare in general, by a lot of practitioners, and by a lot of people who, honestly are not educated in the things that they're talking about as pertains to health, but also diabetes, I can completely understand why a lot of diabetic patients are horrified about coronavirus, but almost comfortable when it comes to their diagnosis of type 2 diabetes. And this is what I want to address. If you are type 2, if you are a type 2 diabetic, and you are more concerned or more focused on avoiding the coronavirus versus improving your diagnosis as a type 2 diabetic via lifestyle, you have to, I would humbly recommend that you change your priority. Why do I say that? Because coronavirus is not your biggest problem. And I'll go through and tell you what your biggest problem is, but your main biggest problem, the biggest problem that a lot of people who are dealing with a health condition have, the biggest problem, in my opinion, is the healthcare system. Why? Because the healthcare system is the one who set this whole thing up to have you massively miseducated. They are the ones who started you down this path of a plethora of half-truths. They are the one who sat you in the wheelchair even though you could still walk. They are the one who gave you the crutches even though you can walk, you can run, and you're in an actual wheelchair. Like, they are the one who started giving you all these things, this information that did nothing to empower you, that did nothing to actually benefit you. They are the one who actually programmed you with this mindset of being helpless. And what I mean by that is they are the one who told you that type 2 diabetes is chronic, meaning that it's once you got it, that's it, it's lifelong. They are the one who told you that this thing is progressive, meaning that once you get it, not only are you going to always have it, but it's going to get worse. They are the one who told you that this thing runs in your family. So not only once you get it, you're going to always have it. Not only once you get it, you're always going to have it, but it's only going to get worse. And not only once you get it, you're going to always have it, it's going to always get worse. You couldn't avoid it because it runs in your family. They are the one who gave you that blueprint. Like, they are the one who told you that. Those folks handicapped you, they crippled you way before you even had a chance to actually try to get out there and figure out what this whole thing was, because they're official, they have the whole system, they smile in your face, they shake your hand, they look nice, they smell good, and so their ice has to be coded. They are the ones who have given you that program of helplessness. And what I'm telling you is that they are your biggest problem. The healthcare system in general is your biggest problem. They are also the ones that told you that these medications, whether it be the metformin, whether it be the sulfonylureas, glimepiride, glipizide, glyburide, whether it be the insulin, which is horrible, whatever, you choose it, the Trajeo, like, you choose it, whatever. They are the ones who actually told you that you take these medications, you'll get better. You take these medications, you'll be able to control your diabetes. Now, what the hell does that even mean? What does that even mean? Now, we would assume that if they're telling us to take these expensive-ass medications, that you have some proof behind all of this whole entire system you have behind diabetes, that by doing this, it's going to decrease mortality. It's going to decrease morbidity. You're taking these medications thinking that you're actually going to get healthier. You're actually going to do better. You're actually going to avoid the complications that come from diabetes. And that's another thing you have to understand, is that when we're talking about diabetes, one of the major complications or events that people are trying to take, or people are trying to avoid, are cardiovascular events. This is why you're doing the insulin. This is why you're doing the sulfonylureas. Like, this is why you're doing the medications, because you don't want to have a heart attack. You don't want to have a stroke. You don't want to go blind. You don't want to have kidney damage, kidney failure, and then end up on dialysis. Like, you're taking these medications because you don't want those complications. And so you would definitely assume that by taking these medications and being a good patient and managing these things, that you would be untouched as pertains to the complications that come with type 2 diabetes. You would think that, right? Like, surely they have evidence to prove it. Just go look up the Accord study. The Accord is spelled the same way as Honda Accord. Just go look up the Accord study. Go look up the VDAT study, V-D-A-T. You can look up that study. Go look up the Accord, VDAT, Advanced study. You can look up the Advanced study. Unfortunately, there's so many things that you can look up to see that what they say out their mouth is completely different from the results and the things you actually see for yourself as a patient, and completely different than what we see as actual practitioners, people who actually are on the front lines, have their hands in the actual dirt, in the trenches, and you're telling this patient to lose weight and they're gaining weight. Why? Because you're giving them insulin. Like, these is crazy. So this information that is being given to patients by the healthcare system that has become the actual metric, they're pretty much metric management. Like, they're all about metric management. They're about disease management. Why? Because that's how they make money. I mean, you can resist it, you can push back, but the numbers don't lie. These folks are all about making money, not so much about improving your health, because they start improving your health, you mess around, go out there and live your best life. Now, look, can't have that. You got to get a piece of that pie. And so you being sick is a piece of that pie. You coming every 3 months is a piece of that pie. You filling up your medications is a piece of your pie. And if it ain't you, can I get your mama, your grandmama, your daddy, your granddaddy, your son, your child? You got to give me somebody so I can have that recurring revenue. And that's what this whole thing has become. And so them giving everyone that feeling, particularly type 2 diabetes, that their biggest concern right now needs to be avoiding coronavirus, which I'm not telling you to go out there and get it. Yeah, you should definitely avoid it if you can avoid it. Them empowering and constantly going on and on about wearing masks and washing your hands, definitely do those things. But if they truly cared, if they truly loved you, and they truly wanted to see tangible, real results, they would, one, let you know, yo, this whole diabetes thing, this type 2 diabetes thing, remember how we were telling you that it was progressive and chronic? Our bad. We lied. I'm sorry. We made a mistake. Sorry about that, y'all. Got a phone call. Got a patient waiting. But I'm saying all that to say this. They are your biggest problem. You have to understand that. Go back and watch the video that I did Saturday where I'm sitting in the park and I'm talking about coronavirus and type 2 diabetes. Go through and listen to the part of the video where I'm telling you what happens every 24 hours for people who are diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Talking about 55 people every single 24 hours will go blind, never to see again. Over 100 people every single 24-hour period will have some type of amputation. Over 200 something odd people every single 24-hour period will be placed on dialysis, never to get off again in their life. So these are real things that's happening to people every single day who are diabetic. You got to understand that if you're diabetic, if you're insulin resistant, the platform is already set up. The framework is already set up. The foundation is already there. You're already at risk way before the pandemic even came. You're already at risk. And so what I'm saying is that I'm damn near begging that we transfer that energy that we have about being afraid and avoiding the virus. Continue to avoid it. Continue to do what you have to do. What I'm asking is that you transfer that energy over to a foundational problem that we've always had, we were already dealing with, which is insulin resistance, and start to eat better, start to drink water, start to exercise, start to fast. That's what I'm asking. Because at the end of the day, the things that they are pushing on you is most likely the things that they're actually profiting on. These folks don't love you. They're not there for you like that. All right, so I hope y'all get that. I hope y'all understand. Hope you understand that I'm not trying to, y'all know me. I've been doing this for 6 years. Y'all know me. Y'all know where my heart's at. So let me go ahead and finish seeing this patient. I love y'all. I appreciate you all. Do me a favor, share the video. I don't want y'all focusing so much on a problem that someone else sanctioned that you should focus on while ignoring your very real problems, because if you're insulin resistant, you have very real problems. All right, and so continue to do what you got to do, continue to be safe, but make sure you understand, don't ignore your true foundational problems. All right, I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.